Okay, welcome. Excited for this. We have our exact advertising process for fitness businesses. You can use this for other businesses as well. To get typically the goal is to get 30 to 50 new members or new clients every single month in their fitness business. So I want to break this down. I've got loads of stuff to show you here, loads of like for the nerds that are watching, but also for the visual learners. So there's lots to get through. But before I get stuck into it, I want to quickly talk about my journey. And I'm going to give myself 90 seconds to do this because I don't want to bore you. But if I've never met before, my name's Chris Bradley. I own the MRR agency and fitnessads.ai. And so where it all started for me was being self-employed in 2015. This is me getting the job in Pure Gym, Glasgow. You can see here. And then 2015, I started my own business, which was called Hawkeye Fitness, which was precise and affordable personal training. And then fast forward 4 years later, I started the company called the Glasgow PT. We sort of put a name to it. You can see here I started to get in shape. I did what every fitness professional does, gets in shape thinking that'll grow their business, and it doesn't. And then from there, we just kind of took over Glasgow, to be honest. From there, we, ran the Glasgow PT in person, doing personal training, and then we took it online with Transformation Challenge and things like that, giving away holidays for the winner. And then fast forward, we then moved into our own gym, the Glasgow PT gym. You can see here, that's me, and that's my now wife, and we're coaching a session here. And we had that for a couple of years before selling it. And you can see here, this is from the Stripe account from this time frame, and we made almost $1 million with the fitness business, 911,000. To be honest, it was more than that, and go cardless and all that sort of stuff. But finding it's a nightmare, so I'm only going to show you this and some proof receipts, which are quite rare these days. And then from there, it was time to help personal trainers, gym owners, and stuff grow their business. So we created the Upgraded Coach, where it was a kind of mentorship style program that I was a bit of a one man band running it until I couldn't anymore. And then from there, we just grew up. We just started helping real businesses or real business owners who want to work hard and get successful and stay in this game long term. So it was time to rebrand. In October of 2024, we rebranded to the MRR agency, which we see here. You can see the sign above me, which is now the agency that's running these ads just now that I'm going to teach you and show you. And then just most recently, I won the award for, you'll zoom in and see, it is MRR Agency Specialist Marketing Consultancy of the Year. And I also want to show you why I'm a bit credible to talk about ads. I just took these there. I don't know if you can see the time on the screen, but it's a 10:14 right now. I just took these a little bit of time ago. This is 10:08, 10:09. And this is the MRR Agency ad account. You can see here we spent 180k on ads of my own money. That's just me that spent that to grow the agency. And in the Glasgow PT, you can see here it's been almost 21k. So 200k of my own personal money. I say personal money, me reinvesting the business money back in. So that's why I'm qualified to talk about this. Now, this isn't including, another couple of 100,000 that I've used to spend clients' money to grow their business. Okay, so hopefully that was more than 90 seconds, but I just want to give you a reason why I've got a bit of a justification to talk about this. So before we go into the fancy stuff and I start showing you cost per lead and all that good stuff, I want to show you very quickly. This is pretty much our internal SOP that we use, so you're kind of seeing what me and the team see. First things first, we need to do is research and prep. Okay, so we need to do some ad research. So when a client signs up, client joins. Now that you can look at this through your lens if you want to go and do this yourself, but you want to go and do research, right? And this is research on the creative. The creative means the image, the video, whatever you're using to actually show the piece of media that you're showing the viewer, the person clicking on the ad. And then you want to do customer research. And then you want to do a competitor research. So from the competitor research standpoint, you want to look at their sites, look at their ads library. So just go into ads library, click on their page, or go into their page on Facebook and go to see about, see transparency, view their ads that are live. You're better going into ads library and typing their name in, because then you can see ads that they've turned off. And you're looking for ads that have been on a while as well. So then you want to look at competitors' offers. If you're a location-based business, it would make sense to check, like if you're on a high street here and, this is you here, like what is the offers that are being run in this area? Even if it's not in the same street, like where else are these offers running? So for us, for example, when we do research, when we have a gym, we will notice like in this postcode, we have to do research, let's say it's G53 or whatever the postcode is. There could be a couple of gyms over here in this big massive radius who are buying ads, who are paying for ads. And sometimes, most of the time, this is going to raise the cost per lead depending on how much they're spending. So you have to be aware of that. Like the KPI has to be around the area. Like there's no right or wrong KPI. I get asked this sometimes where it's like, Chris, what would what's your cost per lead that you get people? And it depends. It's like it all depends on the location. Now, for online businesses, obviously, you can still search competitor offers. For example, we've got someone an online coach in the LGBTQ plus niche, and we have to search the competitor other coaches who are doing that. He's the best in the space, but we still have to look and see what they're running and what's working. So when we look at competitor research, we also want to look at the formats and then the organic trends that are happening and any angles. So we're not big at jumping on trends, but if there's trends that work within that niche, then we can get on it, and it's going to get a lot higher click-through rate and stuff. And then moving over here, when we do our customer research, we look at their desires and emotions, their ideal customer profile, and any post-purchase surveys. So one of the best pieces of data that you can get is asking clients why they signed up. So this should definitely be a question when someone signs up with you, because we can use the answers to that, to double down on ads and just run with it, right? And then what we need to look at is obviously angles that we can take. So pretty much based on all of this, we want to kind of get to a point where we can create an angle that is going to stand out, a unique selling point, something that is going to make these ads as cheap as possible with the highest quality of lead coming through. But more importantly, when we put an ad on the feed, this individual here knows exactly that it's for them, and they get to that point by making sure we do all of this right. That's the key here, okay? So then we move on to ad creation based on that knowledge. We look at angles, like I says, why would someone, or why should someone convert, or how do they convert? Like, how can we disrupt the industry or their area, their city? Like, how can we shuffle the pack? How can we make people go, wow, that's different? The basic example is, a gym just going, we'll help you, we're looking for this and we'll help you lose fat. Like, we need to look at different angles that can be disruptive. And that's the key word that you'll notice here with our ad creation is disrupt. And we have to do that by the angle we take. Primary formats, so are we looking at video, are we looking at image, are we looking at carousel, is it a catalogue ad, for example? And then we move over to secondary formats. So is it Reels, is it UGC, is it partnership ads, us versus them ads, feature point out, feature and benefit, founder, testimonial, press article, before and after, bullet point, and so on and so on and so on. So some of this will just be ruled out for certain businesses, and some will just be like, this is the best for this type of industry. For example, right, statistics might be very, very good for really kind of data-driven businesses and customers who want to know the stats and statistics. And then we move over to trends, like what are organic creators doing? Quite often what you'll find is organic creators are finding winners and getting stuff to go semi-viral or viral within that niche. So we're not going to copy them, but we're going to look at it and take inspiration on the way that it's pitched and the way that it's formatted, and then we'll hop on that trend. And then what are competitors doing? What's the trend that they're doing? So if I look at my competitors, for example, let's say they're running an ad that's been live for a year. It might be a good idea to really dissect why that's the case and how they've got it, why they've still got it running, right? And then reviewing and testing. So let's say we do all of that, we get the ads ready to go. We need to look at how we analyze and optimize the ads. So a good way to look at it is just add the new ads. We're at the starting point here. We'll do a bit of a 2-week test. Now, there is a bit in between here where it's like, well, if this is just not taking off, then of course, but we can't be too quick with the trigger finger. We need to wait. And then at the end of week 2, we look at analysing and optimising the ads, the changes, changing creative, copy, whatever. And then 2-week creative generation. So while this is happening, we want to be proactive in this stage so we can prepare and get new stuff ready. With the new Andromeda update, we need a lot of creative, so we're always going to be doing that anyway. And then we're optimizing at week 4, and then repeat, or we add new ads, and we keep the winners. That's really simple. Then we move into scaling, so we want to look at, right, okay, what are the scalable creatives that we can really start putting some spend behind, and what are the ones that we can turn off? Asking yourself, is it an acceptable cost per result? Do we need a new audience? How is the frequency level? Depending on the offer, it can go above 2.0, but obviously for some, it's like, right, okay, if it's at 2, then we already know we need to start preparing for more creative or, tap into new audiences, for example. How high is the reach if we are relevant? It's not always relevant for an offer to have high reach, but is it relevant for this offer? And is it alarming? or is it still in a good spot, a KPI? Then we look here, regular. So, for example, if it's a regular campaign, it might be to increase it by 10 to 20% per week on a Monday, depending on the business that you're working with and your business. Like, do you want to grow slowly, or do you want to just kind of phase this up and scale it up as we go? If so, we can increase it by 10 to 20% every week on a Monday. Our ad team actually meets every every Monday, Thursday. So we can determine this and look at it. Or do you want to go aggressive? Do you want to increase it by 10 to 20% per week on a Monday and Thursday, for example? Or is it a volume goal based? So, like, for example, cost per result times the number of desired results. So we need to look at that. Again, it really depends on the business and your business. So what I want to point out here, right, with all that said, that's all basic stuff, to be honest. But this is where we really stand out against our peers, is like 90%, 99% of ads are shit because they're lazy, copy, paste, and blend into the background. That is it. Honestly, like, you could do all of this, but see if your ads are just boring and lazy, you're not going to stand out. I'll be honest with you, like, we are competing against a lot of people who have been in the industry a while, and they're dinosaurs at times. So us coming in, like, not copy paste, not lazy, we can really stand out and, you know, make gyms half their cost per lead. So if you want a quick win, go buy a template and get forgotten. You know, people just give you Canva templates and all that sort of stuff. You'll just copy the gym down the road, but you'll get forgotten. You want your brand in their head and in the group chat, then it's time to get disruptive. Okay, that's how you really make these ads like scalable to the point you're almost like, I don't think I'll ever post organic content again. So for us, I've covered this in a previous YouTube video, but we research first, as I've shown you. Then we identify the bullseye. Then we hijack attention. We use pattern match triggers. We build a hook bank. We document attention hijackers, and we sell against alternatives. Okay, I'm not going to go into that now because there's another video on it. But I like to think of it as like the secret KFC herbs and spice recipe that's not that secret. Everybody knows it, but no one's replaced it. And that's what this our formula is here. I've just told you it, but it's not so secret. For some reason, we're the only ones that use it properly. Okay, so moving on, right? I want to talk about the campaign objective, and I'm just giving you a short example here. Every campaign objective is different depending on what you want, but typically it's going to be for leads or sales, more commonly leads for the most businesses we speak to. So let's say it's Facebook and Instagram. You know, you're going to drive people to either a lead form or a landing page, depending on the objective. Or you maybe even, you know, run it to a page like an Instagram or a Facebook page to run for followers. So again, you know, we look at the business in front of us. What is the objective? Of course, more often than not, it's get me sales and leads. And you'll see that here. So I want to show you the portfolio and how, you know, we've got a different like brand, a different variety of the gyms and stuff and the coaches that we help. And the reason I'm showing you this is so you can take some inspiration, right? So we've got a martial arts studio here. You can see here I've drew some arrows towards the leads. So 189 leads, cost per lead is £3.87. You know, we can go down these ones as well. There's £4 for 184 leads, 148 leads. And you can see here, it's like this is all in the space of 60 days. A whole bunch of videos here. And then we have a CrossFit gym here. You can see me pointing to the arrow here. We have 33 leads at £8, much more competitive postcode. Then we have a female-only gym. You can see here 122 leads for £4.35. And then we have got B2B, aka us. So I've been running my own ads for a good while now. You can see here, you know, 320 leads at £3.34. 400, 500, you know, really cheap leads for B2B. Some of these were kind of follower ones and stuff like that. But just goes to show you our principles work for me, a marketing agency, to attract our clients. So we're pretty good with that. We're probably going to look to take on a B2B business at some point, which will be exciting. Online CrossFit coaching, you can see here this was more of a lead magnet. 138 leads, £2.17, and a ridiculous click-through rate, which is amazing. Boxing classes and PT sessions, you can see here 83 leads and a cost per lead of £6 as it started to go expensive with the frequency up. We have small group personal training here. We have 67 leads and we have £8.64 cost per lead. And then boxing, strength training and yoga in the one gym, we have 54 leads at a cost per lead of £6.55. And then online health coaching for GBTQ plus community, we have 324 leads for this lead magnet into a book a call campaign, £1.97 per lead. And then another one is a small group personal training High Rocks prep style gym, where our cost per lead is £5.33 and 58 leads in total here, for example, and then another one just similar to it. So that's what you can see from the, using this ideology and this framework and plugging it into these different businesses, the outcome. And we've got tons more. You'll see on the website here, you've got like Alex, who's online fitness coaching, Cat online fitness coaching, outdoor fitness boot camps, stuff like that. And you can see it all on the mrragency.com. But that is essentially it in a nutshell. That is our exact advertising process for fitness businesses to get them 30 to 50 new members or clients every single month. I tell a lie, that's not every single month. That's every single 90 days. Every 90 days, I beg your pardon. So let me change that. I don't want people coming to us expecting us to get them 50 new members a month every 90 days. So, somewhere in the region of 10 per month, all the way up to, sort of 15 as well. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed it. Any questions, let me know in the comments. But this is it. We're very, very proud of it. It's taken us a while to get there as we continue to scale the ad spend. FitnessAdsAI.ai has been trained on every single part of this. And of course, with the agency, we build it, much more tailored to you. Anyway, I'll see you in the next video.